So, Mayor, you probably have a little background of why we're here. We're talking about the child tax credits and some of the benefits to the community.
Right.
And as we were chit chatting, you mentioned just kind of being of service to the citizens. And so I wanted to just kind of hear your thoughts about the child tax credit, benefits like that, financial benefits to the community, and what impact you've seen it have for the people of Donaldsonville.
Well, first of all, the child tax credit program is something that is very good and very important, not just to the city of Donaldsonville, but children all over the United States. One great thing about the child tax credits when it comes to the city of Donaldsonville is the city of Donaldsonville poverty level is around 45, 46%. So you have a lot of people that income is subsidized by other programs, and also the child tax credit program was something that enabled them to have extra funding to be able to buy groceries, to be able to pay utility bills. It's a program that they can use in order to find a better place to live. A lot of people were renting, places for their children to live that was substandard because they couldn't do any better. They couldn't afford to pay a higher rent
Hmm.
note. So this would enable them to be able to have a better quality of life in so many areas. The child tax credit program also allowed them to be able to pay people to bring them to those doctor's appointments that they may have had to cancel because they didn't have transportation, didn't have a means to get there. It may seem like minimal when someone say, "Well, I'll bring you, but you need to put gas in my vehicle."
Right.
That allowed them to be able to do things like that. So the overall benefit of the child tax credit program is so monumental when it comes to a community like Donaldsonville, where some families may not even know where their next meal is going to come from. They may not know how they're going to keep the lights on.
Mhm.
We're in some very extreme weather now that where not having the means to be able to have heat in your home, can cause the loss of life of your children. And we wouldn't want to ever see anything like that happen, not just here in the city of Donaldsonville, but anywhere. And so the child tax credit program allowed parents to be able to have extra funding to make sure that the children had the necessities of life.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as a leader of the community, the leader of the community, how does this even impact things like crime or education for the community?
Well, and the thing when you talk about crime and Donaldsonville is no different from any town, and especially small town USA. The crime whenever it happens, everybody knows everybody, so it impacts the whole community. But the reasons that crime is at an all-time high is because of the poverty level and not having. It's kind of hard for children to even go to school and be in a classroom where those that have and they don't have, that makes them not want to go to school, want to
Right.
drop out or whatever. So having extra funding to be able to provide them the things that they need, make them go to school, with a mindset of,
Yeah.
I am as equal to the person next to me because I'm not looking at what I have on as being less than the other persons in my class. So this is it's very important and it's very helpful for the community to reduce crime and also from an educational standpoint of having the children to go to school with a mindset ready to learn.
Well, let's talk about that mindset too, because mental health is really important,
Yes, ma'am.
and we know poverty impacts that greatly. Do you think something like the CTC or any of the tax benefits can move the needle when it comes to mental health?
Most definitely, because like you said, poverty have a lot to do with it, and the mindset of young people is, we may understand as we get older that we have to struggle to get things, but a young child, they're just looking at why can't I have what
Right.
Johnny have? Why can't I have what Sue has? Why, am I different? Why do I have to live in a community where the violence is at an all-time high? Why I can't get a good night's sleep because, hearing the gunshots ringing out, why I can't have my own computer, in order to be able to do my work or do things. So all type of programs like the child tax credit program and other programs like that help the community and the mindset of people in such a tremendous way. And that helps with mental health because, it says, as a man thinketh, so is he, right? So, a lot of times we have the mind, our mind tells us that we need to do things in order to get, who knows, a child may start stealing,
Hmm.
you know, just so so I don't have to ask my mom, who's a single mother that's working 3 jobs, that's telling me, no, I can't get it because she's using all of the money that
Yeah.
she's generating in order to try to pay the bills and keep the household going. So they may start doing little things in order to get money. It may even start off with doing little things, and next thing you know, they're dealing drugs or whatever. So any program that can help them,
Hmm.
uh, you know, it's a win-win, not just for our community, but for the federal government as a whole.
Well, as a mayor here for 5 terms now, you deal with budgets every day, all day.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, a part of the argument for and against the child tax credit is that families and communities don't really know how to budget. Would something like this assist with that, or how could something like this assist with kind of financial literacy or family budgeting?
Well, and I think that yes, it can help, and I'll tell you, even like with the city of Donaldsonville, and my slogan have always been doing more with less. Because
Hmm.
of the poverty level here in the city of Donaldsonville, we don't have a lot of money. Our tax base is very anemic, but we have to come up with mechanisms and ways in order to be able to keep this community going. So it's the same with a household. There isn't a lot,
Yeah.
but you have to come up with ways and be creative in order to make sure that your household is running smoothly, that your children are being properly fed. And in order to do that, we all need assistance. When I say we all, because even the Bible tells us that the poor is going to be with us always, right? So when I say we, it's not just singling out
Yeah.
a family or whatever. We all have to be together in order to be able to make sure that there's a quality of life. My job as the mayor, I need to make sure that we look for ways to have better housing
Hmm.
and things for the people in this community. Programs, like it's talk about literacy. Now we're doing things along with the sheriff department, the Ascension Parish Library, different industries and all in the community. We just opened a study commons. When I say we, it's the sheriff department study commons, but we all, have a hand in making sure that it became a reality.
Hmm.
And now children can go there and do tutoring, uh, just through a program. They just got back from Atlanta touring university. You talked about, I think, 8 to 12-year-old children went to Atlanta, was able to tour the Dr. Martin Luther King Museum, see
Wow.
where he lived, the church, different things. They went to, place where housing when it was turned around. So they got to see a lot at a very
Right.
young age, and hopefully being able to see that will let them understand that there is uh, a better quality of life
Yeah.
when everybody works together and funding is sent in order to help those that may not be able to help themselves. The reason that they can't help themselves may be very broad, but a child shouldn't have to suffer because of a parent's lack of ability to get a decent job. You know, in order to make this community better, we all have to work together. From the educational standpoint of making sure that they have a good education, make sure that they have the possibility of getting a good trade,
Right.
in order to be able to get a decent job. And the child tax credit program can assist in a way of making sure that those kids stay in school, and then as they grow, they will be able to say it was because of programs that that was there for me as a child. I'm willing to give back
Right.
to my community because I know it's like not to have. You
Right.
know, you asked me earlier if I was from Donaldsonville, born and reared right here in Donaldsonville, and I came up in at a time when we didn't have a whole lot, but my parents worked, and I tell people that this all the time. I remember my dad, you know, mom would cook, we all eating, and if I was still hungry and there wasn't anything left, my dad would get up from the table and give me his food.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I was a grown man I realized my dad went to bed hungry a lot of nights to make sure that I
Mhm.
had enough. That's what a parent is going to do.
Mhm.
But when you have programs that can assist, I don't have to think about doing the things that are unthinkable or not good for me or my family. I don't have to lay in bed thinking about, okay, what I have to do in order to make sure that my kids have a meal on
Mhm.
for tomorrow, make sure that the lights are on. When people are put in positions like that, they do a lot of things that may not be natural, may not be something that they were brought up, and used to. But when you have children, you're going to do whatever you have to do in order for them to survive. So programs that can assist
Yeah.
them, is what we need in order to be able to help. We all have to help each other. Like I said, the poor is going to be with us always, but that means that we have to do things in order to help those.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you think about what's ahead for the citizens of Donaldsonville, with this injection, if it goes as we plan and hope that the child tax credit is expanded and families begin to receive it through their next taxes, um, where do you think that you would see it as mayor first? Would you see um, a different level of participation with families when it comes to providing for themselves? Would you see a decrease in them using your services like your utility payment plans and things like that? Like, do you get a chance to see the outcome when the families actually receive those checks?
Yeah, well, and one of the things, I think it's over 400,000 children that didn't qualify for
Yeah.
the child tax credit program. And if it's expanded where all are inclusive, the benefits for the community is great because, like you said, the more the parents have in order to provide the necessities for their children, we're going to see with them paying their bills, not having to work out some type of payment plan, or not having to cut off the utilities, and the children are in the house without gas, without running water or whatever. So we will be able to see the benefits to the city of not having to make those hard decisions to turn off utilities to a home where we know that there are young babies, staying in those homes.
Right, right. So tell me, just I have two more questions. One about advocacy and hearing from your constituents. And as a mayor, how important is that, or has the times changed where people are not so much vocal in what government does? Or do you find in the city like Donaldsonville that your communities are vocal and they tend to advocate for themselves?
Well, Donaldson is a small community where everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So, people are very vocal. I can't go to Walmart without getting stopped and questioned about things. But then I have a group that feels like, what's the use? What's the use of me saying anything? Nothing is going to change. And those are the ones that we have to reach and make sure that we bring along with us
Yeah.
because they feel lonely, they feel lost, they feel left out because of their ability to be able to afford a good paying job.
Right.
One of the other things when you look at the way the system is set up, a person go and get a job, they make a few dollars, and then they want to cut them off of different subsidies, and so it makes them say, well, I can do better. I'm better being on some type of assistance than going out and get a job because as soon as I get a job,
It's
everything else
gone.
is taken away. Where I feel like they should be given a grace period of, okay, you need to make sure that you got a job, you making sure that you take care of your bills, you're catching up on everything. Because
Hmm.
if you're just bringing the same amount of money in or just a little bit more, it's kind of hard to be
Yeah.
able to do the things that you need to do. Uh, Sometimes we all struggle,
Yeah.
okay? But when you're struggling every day of your life, when you're having to worry every day of your life on how you're going to make things work, how you're going to make ends meet, uh, that's something that I don't care how great your mind is,
Yeah.
it makes you think about things that you really wouldn't want to do or you don't have to do.
Right. Right. So my last question is, and I thank you so much for your time.
Yes, ma'am.
For someone who had no idea, besides the River Road
African American.
African American Museum
Yes, ma'am.
and the little library that's across the street, had no idea about Donaldsonville. And my dad told me about the sugar canes. He said,
Hmm.
"That's how you know you're going in the right direction. You had the plants and the sugar cane." I said,
Yes,
"Okay,
yes.
Dad." So, what would you tell us about Donaldsonville that for people who may not know this community?
Well, Donaldsonville, first of all, is the third oldest city in the state of Louisiana.
Mm.
There's a lot of history right here in the city of Donaldsonville. In 1868, the first African American mayor in the history of the United States was right here in
Wow.
Donaldsonville, Pierre Carlis Landry. Mentioned the sugar cane. The first sugar cane planting machine was built by Mr. Leonard Julian, who lived right outside the city limits of Donaldsonville in a little community called Modesto, Louisiana.
Mm.
So there's a lot of history here. We had, the first, African American doctor, Dr. Lowry, the schools and all are named after him, who was an entrepreneur. He was so much. He owned so much property. When you read about people like that, and then you look at this community and see uh, how well people get along.
Yeah.
You know, like I say, we all have our problems. I don't care what community you go into, but uh, you will find loving people here in the city of Donaldsonville. When you come to Donaldsonville, you can enjoy the restaurant like the the Grapevine,
Yes.
and get in those things. I'm sure you probably had some white
Mm.
chocolate bread pudding too, huh?
I'm on my way to get
The
that.
only way back to get it. But there's so much that the city of Donaldsonville have to offer. Uh,
Hmm.
my biggest thing to people is uh, don't prejudge us on things that you hear people say. Come and get to know us. Come and get to know me, and you will realize that the city of Donaldsonville is a great place to live, to work, and to raise your family.
Yes. Yes. That's all I have. You good? Good. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
See?
To see I wasn't
No, you
prepared
were
for all this.
ready. You were ready, ready. This is excellent.